The most anticipated earnings releases for the week of February 5, 2024. Presented by Earnings Whispers, TransDigm, Estée Lauder, Edwards Lifesciences, Tapestry, Wynn Resorts, BorgWarner, and Healthpeak Properties officially scheduled their earnings for this week, which has pushed the total large-cap stocks reporting above last week's total. Still, it is the increase in the small-cap names reporting that is pushing the total from about 300 companies to around 500 companies this week. Investors and traders are most interested in Palantir Technologies' earnings release this week, and it really isn't close. The stock has kept from filling its gap from last quarter, and trends are positive, which favors the stock going into earnings, but the company gets more than half its revenue from government contracts, and there are some data checks that put this in doubt during the quarter. We are going to start things off, though, Monday morning with Caterpillar, which will report earnings before the open. This is the first time in at least 25 years that the company will report fourth-quarter earnings during the month of February, and there are data checks that suggest trends are weakening. Going into the company's earnings announcement, though, it appears estimates have been revised lower well enough for the company to make the low hurdle. Meta reported strong results last week, and the price action took many of its peers with it, including Snap. Despite the stock flagging at a 52-week high, investors haven't really jumped on this move and sentiment remains bearish. The company reports after the close on Tuesday. Sentiment is the opposite for Eli Lilly, which reports before the open on Tuesday and whose peer, Novo Nordisk, also reported strong results last week. That has helped Eli Lilly continue to move higher going into earnings. Estimates, however, seem to be all over the place, and we don't have an earnings whisper for the company this time around. At the top of investors' list on Wednesday are two names that just continue to hit new lows: Alibaba before the open and PayPal after the close. Investor sentiment in PayPal has been rather bearish for about 2 years now. The company has primarily reported positive earnings during much of this time, and more recently, sentiment has improved. Yet, the stock continues to hit new lows as the company continues to lose market share in a competitive environment. The weakness in Alibaba, on the other hand, is less about what is going on with the company and more about China, which is showing little evidence of a turnaround anytime soon, which likely means any move higher by Alibaba after earnings should be viewed as a selling opportunity. There doesn't appear to be much consistency among earnings estimates for Affirm, which reports after the close on Thursday, but it is one of the companies taking market share from PayPal as online retailers and consumers utilize the Buy Now, Pay Later feature. The hopes of a soft landing in the US makes it more likely that these consumers will actually pay later, and that is bringing with it higher expectations about its provisions and, therefore, bottom line. Overall, however, sentiment remains bearish. Around the same time, we'll get results from Pinterest, which also cites stock rally on the heels of Meta's results. Sentiment turned bullish in the stock early in 2023 and has held there most of the past year, but short interest started ticking up after the company's last earnings release and is now at its highest level since mid-2022. The focus Friday morning will be on Pepsi, which has developed a number of headwinds of late, including a lack of pricing power, issues in France, and perhaps secular weakness due to GLP-1 drugs. Canopy Growth also reports Friday morning, and, while earnings estimates have been getting revised higher recently, particularly after its upside surprise in August, revenue peaked about 3 years ago and continues to trend lower, seemingly every quarter. Estimates are for revenue to continue lower this quarter and next as well. Naturally, with 500 companies scheduled to report earnings this week, there are a number of expected double-digit moves. One of the biggest moves, based on option prices on Friday, is FormFactor, even though it typically moves less than 10% on earnings in either direction. Short interest in the stock started creeping up at the beginning of 2022, while the stock was hovering above $40. The stock fell below $20 late in 2022, but few of the shares recovered. Now the stock is back around $40, and it seems traders are either looking for the short sellers to either be proven right or decisively wrong when the company reports after the close on Wednesday. As we move into February, we are starting to get companies fill up the calendar in early March. March will mostly be retailers since they close their fiscal year at the end of January and then will report their audited annual numbers. However, most investors and traders are already eyeing CrowdStrike on March 5th,